Hello and welcome to Sporting News' Quarantine Questions. We are back for episode 5. Absolutely delighted to be here. And this time we're joined by yet another Olympic gold medalist in Matt Wearn. Matt, how are you today?
Yeah, really, really good. Thanks for having me.
It's a delight to have you on. Obviously, you're a little bit different to some of the other athletes that we've been chatting to over the last couple of weeks or so. You're actually in Europe. You have gone to Belgium to be with your partner. Can you talk us through where you are at the moment?
Yeah, obviously super lucky to get over to Europe and be in a bit more of a normal environment. But yeah, come over to see my fiance and spend some time here in Belgium, which is really nice, and take up some of the summer weather.
Well, remember, if you've got any questions for Matt, leave them in the comments down below if you're listening in on Facebook or YouTube. We've got plenty that have been sent in already. So, yeah, lots to get through with you today, Matt. But let's go right back to the beginning. Let's talk about a bit about how you got into sailing, because obviously you've been around the sport for a while now, but the journey had to start somewhere.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 3 kids, and both my parents both sailed. So I remember my older sister; she was in a mirror, and all I wanted to do was be like her and go out in the water. And my parents put me through a learn to sail course at about 7 years of age with my brother, and yeah, I just haven't really stopped since then.
I mean, it's clearly worked out very well for you, because here you are, you have an Olympic gold medal to your name. I mean, it's the Australia's record in this men's laser class has been quite surreal over the last 3 games. Did you feel much pressure going into the games, knowing that I guess you had that incredible backlog behind you in terms of Aussies who had taken out the gold medal?
Yeah, I guess definitely there was. You obviously don't want to be that guy that ruins the streak, and yeah, I mean the pressure just from myself as well to go and perform was quite high. But yeah, there was definitely that side of it that Australia has that history in the laser at the Olympics, and yeah, I wanted to do that justice. And yeah, obviously there's other people within the squad that would have been more than capable of doing a similar result. So yeah, you got to go and do the best you can.
Now let's talk a little bit about your Tokyo experience. When did you get the call up that you were going to be on the team? Because obviously a lot of the sailing team was kind of announced before the postponement, and then some were announced a bit closer to the actual 2021 date.
Yeah, well, I was quite fortunate to be, I think, the first person in the entire team selected. So that was back in September 2019, and yeah, it seems like a long time ago now, but yeah, it was a pretty awesome experience to be one of the first selected, and you could just sort of knuckle down and get ready for Japan, which was really cool.
I mean, there's a good question here that I want to put up first, and it's going to be very hard to answer it correctly, I think. But how much time does it take to be an Olympic gold medalist? Good luck trying to answer that one. That's from
Yeah.
Salman Hamdi.
Yeah, it's sort of one of those "how long is a piece of string" sort of thing. It's
Yeah.
yeah, people do it in various times. There's I guess if we think of Mara Stransky in the radial class, that she's done it relatively quickly in terms of how long she's been sailing for. But for myself, I mean, it's the 10,000 hours. It's the years of being on the water, and I mean, we're obviously quite lucky. We come from a competitive nation in the sailing that. You can't just sort of just qualify and go to the Olympics. You got to beat world champions. You got to beat regatta winners to go. So you got to get to a level that's high enough to be winning a gold medal. And yeah, I guess we're lucky for that. But yeah, at the same time, it takes us that extra little bit of time to get there.
Now let's look at the specific races from these Tokyo Games. Obviously, I think those first couple of races took a little bit of a while to get going, but that middle sort of stretch, that sort of 3 to 7. Boy, you found some form there.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shaky start. I think the first little bit of the regatta, the conditions were I mean, they were okay, but it was probably not what we expected. And in the second race, had a bit of a breakage with one of my ropes, which went from it being a quite okay result to being my worst result of the regatta. So the pressure was definitely on, but yeah, I like to think that the training we did before helped me with that, in the sense that you could just knuckle down and really thrive on that pressure and start to put in some good results. And once we got on a roll, there was really no stopping.
Apologies if you can hear my dog barking around. She's decided to join in for this live stream. One question that we got in from a Jeremy O'Connell, which you might be well placed to sort of answer, is who is the biggest pest in the Australian sailing team?
Oh, that's a tricky one, actually. I think Depends what sort of angle you want to go from. But pests, they're all pretty good blokes, to be honest. I mean, no one's really a pest. But I mean, yeah, Finn Alexander, Finn Hundo, he's always hanging around. But I wouldn't call him a pest. He's just froth sailing, and yeah, just always wants to be a part of it, which is cool.
Well, we've got to talk about this sort of final moment that race 10, you wrap up the result. You know that all you have to do is cross the line going into that medal race on the Sunday. What was going through your head after that race? And I mean, you had essentially 2 nights to sleep on a gold medal. I mean, was it really hard to keep yourself composed and not celebrate early?
Yeah, it was a little bit. It's still a strange scenario for me to get my head around. Really, obviously not something that I expected to happen as well. So for it to come across that quickly and be like that was incredible. But yeah, I sort of explain it that my head kind of switched off, but your body kind of knows it still needs to compete. And yeah, it was just a really weird experience. I mean, I think the Friday night was the night after that 10th race, and it's probably the worst night of sleep I've ever had. I was just sort of sitting there tossing and turning, and I think just trying to sort of figure out what the feelings were and didn't really know how to feel. But then yeah, come the Saturday, and I could just sort of process it all and chill out a little bit and watch some of the others race, that it started to sink in and could just really relax and start to enjoy that experience of the medal race on that Sunday.
Was it always your plan to go out hard in that medal race as well? Was there any ever thought of just going, okay, just got to cross the line, that's all I've got to do?
Yeah, I think sort of was chatting with Black as my coach before the race, and we both agreed that it just feels terrible when you've won the regatta but you come 9th or 10th in the race, and it also looks a bit weird on TV, and you don't want people to be questioning like, why has this guy won a gold medal? So yeah, the goal was to go out and be competitive and try and win the race. And I feel like that was the fairest thing I could do as well for the other competitors that were competing for other medals as well. That you don't want to influence that in some way, but if you can go out and race as hard as you have all week, then you can go home and sleep well at night, knowing that you didn't push someone off the podium or put someone on the podium that you could have somewhat other affected. So yeah, we just wanted to go out and finish strong. I think I've just lost you there for a sec.
There we go. That's why I've muted the mic to stop my dog coming through in the background. You get that medal. You get to step on top of that podium after all those years of hard work. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, I think I probably see that moment as when everything kind of sunk in a little bit. That it was all a bit of a whirlwind before that, but you're sort of standing behind the podium, and it's probably the first time you've been left alone as well, in some sense, since you've won. And yeah, you're just sort of standing there, you're waiting for everything to kick off, and you start to think about the week that's been and the 10 years prior as well. And yeah, they start to call out your name, you stand on top, and then obviously you get the medal and stuff, and you just feel this weight sort of lift off your shoulders, which is, yeah, you sort of just go all light in some sense, I guess. But yeah, then listening to the national anthem played, and yeah, you're singing along to that, and you start to get the emotions and a bit of a tear in your eye. And yeah, it's just an incredible feeling.
Well, we had one question come in on Instagram from a fellow Olympian who you might have rubbed shoulders with in the village, Paulo Acuso, boxer, who asked on Instagram, "Can I have your gold medal?"
No, definitely not. That's a non-negotiable. That's all mine.
Where are you keeping it? Have you put it anywhere special? And what's the plan for it?
Yeah, we've been quite fortunate. They've given us like a really nice display box for it. So it's sitting on the bookcase, and yeah, you get to walk past it every time you're walking back and forth through the living room, which is really cool. And you just sort of get a glimpse, and it shimmers in the light. But yeah, we just want to enjoy it, and yeah, don't want to put it away and hide it anywhere. We just, yeah, especially if people come around and you can show it off a little bit. It's pretty cool.
Well, we had another question come in from a teammate in the sailing team, Lisa Darmanin. How many pickles do you go through in an event? I have a lot of questions about this, but I guess I should let you address this first.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stitch up. I think, Sam Ellis, one of our technical guys in the team. there was an Instagram post that went out before racing started where people were asking for tips for some commentary and things like that, and he decided to throw in that I would sail with a pickle to ward off cramps. So Lisa's kind of stitching me up a little bit here, but I mean, I don't even know what to say. I definitely don't sail with pickles. But,
so no truth to this.
No, there is no truth, but it's a good one. I think they were playing along with it for the whole regatta, which was pretty cool.
Obviously, it was a very successful regatta for the Aussies. I mean, you weren't the only one, not only to win a gold medal, but to have the gold medal wrapped up before the medal race, with Matt and Will also winning in their 470 class. I mean, what goes into a tournament like this, or a competition like this, for the Australian sailing team? I mean, before the Olympics, how many hours were you training a day, and how close was this team going into the games?
Yeah, I think it was definitely different to any other Olympics. Obviously, my first one, but you could just tell us with the whole COVID being stuck in Australia for such a long period of time that, I mean, it definitely brought the team closer, and we all had to find different ways to get that edge without being able to go overseas and compete as well. So we really relied on each other, and there was definitely times where, Matt and Will in their 470 would be racing against myself and the squad and the lasers, and obviously two completely different boats, but we could utilise that and try and make an environment that was seductive to winning gold medals. And obviously, in some sense, it worked out by having two classes win before the medal race, and it's just we did a lot of team building as well, and I think the team's never really done that before in Olympics. So we were one really tight group, and I think that was it was conducive to winning gold medals for sure.
One question we had come in from Ryan over on Instagram was, what's your favourite place in the world to sail? Do you have a favourite place?
Yeah, most definitely. I think Palma in Spain, an island off Spain. It's usually one of the events that we go to every year, and it's just a cool place to be off water, but on water the sailing is just amazing as well. You get good breeze, good waves. It's perfect.
Another very popular question we had was Paris 2024 ? Have you got your sights set on hopefully defending that gold medal already?
Yeah, that's certainly a big yes. Can safely say that, especially with only 3 years to go, that I'm keen to continue and keen to be that first person that goes back to back in the laser for gold, and go and represent Australia again, which would be really cool.
Another question we had in from Jack was, do you have any top tips or pickups from your laser experience? Like, what would you advise to a young sailor coming through the ranks?
Yeah, I think especially in the laser, it's one of the slower classes, so it hasn't got that high speed adrenaline rush that some other classes may have. So, if you enjoy the laser and enjoy the tactical sailing, definitely stick with it. I guess the reward for racing a laser is potentially not from the physical point of view, but when you come out on top at the end of an event, you can really sort of sit there and sort of go, wow, like that was incredible, because the competition is just so high.
Zoe had one as well on a sort of similar tangent. Are the lasers your favourite boat to sail, or do you prefer getting in something a little bit bigger sometimes?
Yeah, I think the laser is probably my favourite boat to race, but my favourite boats to sail are usually it's something foiling now as well. Whether it's a moth, a wasp, or even like the wings. Get out in the water and race something different. Something that's fast is just, you get that bit more of an adrenaline rush from that. And probably my favourite boat to sail is just something that's a bit quicker.
Another question we had was, if you had to choose another Olympic sport to compete in, what would it be? Is there anything in particular that you'd identify and go, I reckon I could give that a crack?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I think I haven't really had any experience in any other of Olympic sports, so I'm not too sure. But I like the idea of maybe some sort of cycling, whether it's track or road racing, just because, I mean, I guess do a fair bit of cross training on the bike. So, maybe a bit of track sprinting or something, get the power down would be pretty cool.
Not the BMX? You don't fancy yourself there, maybe?
No, it's too technical for me. I think I'd fall off too much.
We've got another couple of questions here. Another one from Jeremy O'Connell, which was, at what point during the series of races did you first think, I'm a bit of a chance here, I could potentially take out the gold? Or was that sort of a mentality you had coming into the Olympic Games?
Yeah, I guess firstly the goal for going to the Olympics was to win gold, and that was it, really. So I guess we knew we could do it in that sense before the regatta, but I guess as far as after those first two races, obviously that kind of diminished a little bit. And there was probably a point maybe midway through where we started to get back up near the podium places, and the points were getting a little bit closer. That you sort of sat down and go, well, this is mathematically possible now, and we started to think that we could do this. But I mean, we were under no certainty that we knew that if we had a bad race that we could easily be out of the top 10 even. So it wasn't until we crossed that finish line, and it was sealed that we started to think that cool, we've won a gold medal.
What did you make of those conditions in Enoshima Harbour for the most part? I mean, obviously there was a bit of talk about them beforehand, and I guess a lot of training in Sydney Harbour for a lot of the Australian team kind of would have helped with that as well.
Yeah, it's exactly it. We were very confident with the conditions. We spent a lot of time there, but I mean, it was like any other typical regatta that you go to. The pre-regatta training is in perfect sailing conditions and what you expect to see for the regatta. And then come day one, there's a typhoon rolling past the coast, and the wind and the waves get all a bit funky. But it was a good mix of conditions. We had some onshore, some shifty, some light, some windy. So it's all we can ask for in a regatta. And we're super lucky that in Australia we can travel around the country and find those conditions. So it definitely suited us.
So what's next for you in the coming weeks? Are you allowed to take some time off to celebrate an Olympic gold medal, or are you wanting to get straight back into the water and straight back into the thick of the action?
No, I think especially with the extension of the Olympics an extra year, that extra year of stress and all those sorts of things, and putting the body through the limits. Definitely allowed to have a few months off. Enjoy the beer and chocolates here in Belgium, and spend some time with Emma and just chill out. But I'm sure after a few weeks or a month or so that I'll be itching to get back in the boat and wanting to get out competing again.
That actually leads into a good question, which I think will make a good final question from Rob on Instagram. Did you manage to bring back any Sapporo beers with you to celebrate your amazing effort?
No, unfortunately, I didn't have the luggage room for some nice Japanese beer, but I think the Belgian beer will make up for that.
Well, Matt, thank you again so much for taking some time to chat with us this afternoon here in Australia, and for your morning over there in Belgium. Obviously, congratulations on the achievement. It was fantastic to see not only you, but obviously 2 sailing golds come home with Australia in what was been a fantastic Olympics for the Australian team. If people want to follow your journey and follow you on social media, where can they find you?
Yeah, I guess Instagram's probably the best place. At Matt Wearn 1995. Otherwise, Facebook, Matt Wearn Sailing. Yeah, feel free to hit me up and send any questions through. But I guess thanks for having me on.
Well, good luck for the rest of the year, and hopefully we'll be seeing you in Paris 2024. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.